Hello and welcome everybody to Keyworth Stadium. I'm Veronica Bolanos alongside Jarrett Mackey. Thanks for tuning in here today. We've got a great matchup on our hands. Detroit City FC taking on top of the table Flint City AFC.
Always a big matchup when the table toppers come into town. Detroit City FC has seen this Flint City AFC squad twice already this season, both matches ending in draws. They began their season with a 0-0 draw against Flint here at Keyworth Stadium, and then a week later on the road, scraped a 2-2 draw on the road. And tonight's going to be a tight contest, Veronica.
Yeah, we talk about that first matchup between these two teams. That was the only time Flint was shut out of a game. It did end in 0-0, but still quite a notable matchup there. It came early on in the season. Both teams have come a long way since then, certainly, as the teams will take the field.
And that's been sort of the frustrating part for the Detroit City FC squad this season. On multiple occasions, they've showed that they can play with Flint, but just matches along the way, not really getting the points that we need to see. And then as we look at the teams getting ready to line up down there, going through their handshakes, we'll take a look here at the Detroit City FC starting lineup. Veronica, what do you see out there?
Well, I see a good team. Obviously, a little bit of a tactical change there as far as the defensive matchup. You got Shriver, Russ, Smith, Sulis, Duncan, and Martin, and then you have Moore, Pageant. That'll be a good matchup to watch out for. Bloomquist, and then up top, Addison and White. Yeah,
Kenna White scored the winner for Detroit City FC on Wednesday afternoon in Cleveland. It was a header in the first half, and then the defense stood tall for the rest of the game to ensure that 3 points were coming home. A good showing. We'll need to be a little bit better and sharper tonight to get a result against a dangerous Flint team.
But you got to feel that's a good enough momentum coming into this matchup as well, coming off that win against Cleveland. Certainly you want to bring that, like I said, momentum into this matchup. Also, Flint coming in with some speed, too. They're coming off of a 4-2 win against Kalamazoo after tying Kalamazoo 4-4. They've shown that they do have the power to put it in the back of the net, as we see some last-minute pictures being taken. The DCFC team getting ready.
And we see down there Melanie Moore making her second appearance of the season. Came off injured against Flint early on in that match. Was a center back. Today she's being deployed in the midfield by Dave Dway and his staff. Sort of a holding mid, sort of maybe a 6, a halfback type deal for those watching at home. Right in front of the center backs. Offer some more cover for them. Experienced player. Ton of great work at Iowa a couple of years ago, and now going to be a crucial part to this match as Detroit City FC looks to get a result at Keyworth Stadium. Currently 4th in the division.
And about 4 changes, in the starting 11 between this game here today and the game against Cleveland Forest. But like I said, going through the starting lineups, a good kind of pairing to watch. Martin and Bloomquist, they've had a good connection in the midfield especially. So it'll be interesting to see how they pair in that center field.
Yeah, this Detroit City FC team, all year sort of run on Sydney Bloomquist. She's been in the midfield, making things happen, dropping back, winning the ball, playing it forward. So if Detroit City FC have success tonight, it's going to be that midfield trio of Bloomquist, Martin, and Paget. We saw Martin deployed as a forward in some cases this season, and now dropping back into the midfield shows how versatile of a player she is, and that's nothing but good for Dave Dwahey and his staff.
Not only talking about the Martin-Bloomquist connection, let's talk about the Martin and Paget connection. Both players play at Western Michigan. And Martin has shown throughout her recruiting process and even up at college that she can, let it fly from pretty far out. She has the power to do so. As kickoff is just moments away here at Keyworth Stadium, Flint City AFC will start with the ball as they opt to play it all the way back to their defensive line.
And for those watching at home, this Flint City AFC team is often mentioned in best teams in the country in the USL W League. All the weeks that league has, explained the power rankings and put them out on social media. Flint's been up in that top 5, top 10 all year long for good reason. Obviously, they're a very dominant force in this Great Lakes division, and will look to establish a foothold early on in this game tonight.
As we see DCFC kind of stealing possession, kind of being bobbled back and forth in these opening seconds. A giveaway there. And a great ball up top to Addison. Addison
judged to be offside, I believe. It was a tight run from Addison, a very heads-up play there, and a great job by Martin to find her over the top, making that far side run. But just a little bit too early, but a positive start for Detroit City FC, who in their last few matches, especially here at Keyworth Stadium, have given up that early goal. So maybe try to flip the script this time and put one in the back of the net.
I was about to say it'll be interesting to see how this Flint side pairs for the first couple of minutes. What kind of tactical change are they going to make going into this matchup? Are they going to start with a high press? You don't want to let them have too much of the ball, and maybe that's why we see kind of a tactical change from DCFC, almost a 4-4-2 playing centrally. And that will kind of force Flint to play over a top ball. That's not what they normally do. That's not tactically how they operate. They like to play through the middle. They like to string passes together. As we see there, good ball being played out, but Shriver way off her line to clear it out.
That's a good heads-up play there by Shriver. You know, obviously, we'll see a offside flag once again there. It looks to be early on, you know, Detroit City FC's plan is you have Kayla Addison running behind. Players maybe drop deeper. Striker, Kenna White back to goal perhaps to allow that run in behind the Flint City back line. Just a great heads-up play there by Shriver to come off her line, claim the ball, and try to get her team going forward.
And you could see the game plan there, being really quick off the ball, playing centrally. It's going to work as Flint City will look for their first breakthrough, and Shriver collects.
You know, I mentioned that early goal that Detroit City FC's given up time and time again here at Keyworth Stadium this season. Certainly the last time we saw here, and this time it'll be Flint's goalkeeper coming off her line. Radwanski beat Kayla Addison to the ball there.
A good step there, DCFC trying to collect the ball, give it away again. Another breakthrough. What a great read there from Pruss.
Ryan Pruss awarded the assist for Detroit City FC's winner on Wednesday evening. Played a beautiful ball in from out wide, which found the head of Kenna White, and the next thing it touched after that was the back of the net.
And you can
no
see
surprise to see her out there once again.
Yeah, and you can see her reading the ball really well, trying to see what Flint's doing. They want to play the through ball, and she read it all the way both times. Flint still with the ball, cross in, and header goes wide out for a goal kick, the first one of the game.
I believe that was Worthman up in the box for Flint City AFC there. If that ball is just an inch lower, that would cause problems for Shriver. It's a little bit too high for her to get up to it, but Detroit City FC now going up the other end.
Now it's White. She surveys her options on the right-hand side. Poked away there by Bauman.
It's a great tackle from Bauman. Detroit City FC have been dangerous on the corners this year. Unable to really find the back of the net on one yet, but every time Sydney Bloomquist is standing over a dead ball, any team is going to be a little bit worried about their chances. First corner of the match here.
She's certainly shown she can put it wherever she wants to, so we'll see what kind of service DCFC will get on the end of here. Bloomquist plays it in. Ball in the box, now outside the box. Pruss will test her luck. Shot no good.
Moore's doing well to keep that ball in play on the far side touchline. Has it stolen away from her. But it'll be a Detroit City FC throw from deep in Flint City's half. Unfortunate giveaway there.
Not able to really do anything. Kind of forced in the corner, forced to play it all the way back.
It's one of the more comfortable starts I've seen out of the Detroit City FC so far this season. Flint's a team that will, you know, kind of kill you in possession, so good job from Detroit City FC to maintain, sort of dictate the first 5 minutes of play thus far.
They're very disciplined in their approach on this right-hand side, already showing to be a dangerous one. And though it didn't amount to anything that time, they've had some success on that right-hand side between White and Pruss and just the freedom. Obviously, Bloomquist playing a little further up in the midfield. It gives her the freedom and the flexibility to kind of be wherever she wants to be in the field as far as making her runs, finding her space.
Yeah, Pat's a great run there by Padgett down the touchline. White had her back to goal, saw the run coming, and just unable to keep it in. Wasn't for a lack of effort, though. You know, Padgett gave that her all to keep it in, but unfortunately just dribbles out of play. And now Flint will look to establish a foothold in this one as we are approaching the 6-minute mark.
It's something that Flint's able to do so well is switch the ball as fast as they do as they look to attack here, taking your defender one-on-one. The cross comes in, nobody there, headed away, still not out of the water yet. And a good shot there, and Flint will strike first.
Another early goal conceded at Keyworth Stadium for Detroit City FC. And Veronica, that's just a case of Detroit City FC not being able to clear their lines. And you let the ball bounce around in the box long enough to a team as dangerous as Flint, and bad things are going to happen to you.
And it looked to be Olivia Thomas who got on the end of that one, as the DCFC back line will have a few words. I think it was just a matter of, like you said, Jared, a better clearance. Was really unlucky, but they've got to do better in the box as far as clearing it and getting it out of the danger zone. So we take another look here. The header just not powerful enough, and she was unmarked.
Yeah.
Right by the penalty area.
Yeah, Shriver was wrong-footed there too. Not much she could have done in that situation. You know, it's with how the willingness of teams to play out of the back these days, you don't really see center backs as much booted as you would back maybe a couple years ago in the sport. So an unfortunate case of it there, but Flint City have an early lead here at Keyworth Stadium.
And DCFC were really disciplined in their approach as far as their attack up until that point. Just kind of a few unlucky spells of possession there as Addison will play it into the box, cleared out by Flint.
Detroit City FC, you know, despite the 1-0 scoreline, they were showing positive signs in those first 6 minutes of play. Just, again, just an unfortunate maybe lack of concentration that puts the visitors on the board first.
And you can see what they're trying to do. They're trying to find each other quick 1-2 flick off the ball, whether it's White or Bloomquist, trying to just get a one-touch. Flint is so good at shutting down those spaces, especially when you get in their final third. They don't really let you have a lot of space to get good looks, so DCFC have to be really disciplined going forward as another breakthrough comes here. Gattino with the ball. She'll let it fly, and it finds the back of the net.
Wow. That is about as good as a goal of the week nomination as you're ever going to see. It was a powerful right foot of an effort that unfortunately Shriver really couldn't get a hand on, and now Detroit City FC from had a anthill to climb, now have a mountain to climb here at Keyworth Stadium. We'll see it again here.
Oh, and Gattino didn't like anything anyone was giving her, so she said, why don't I take it for myself? The North Carolina commit lets it fly. And you're right, Jared, DCFC have to be really disappointed at how they're starting. They do have a mountain to climb now. It's not even been 10 minutes in the first half. They've got to keep their composure, not give possession away like they just did, and see how they can move going forward.
And that just shows you the danger that this Flint City AFC squad possesses. I feel like a situation like that, for any other team, that's not really that much of a big opportunity. But when Gaetano, you give her that kind of space, you let her get off that kind of shot, and that's what happens. Detroit City FC 2-0 down here in this first 10 minutes against the table toppers.
And with Gattino, she really favors that right foot. You want to see if maybe DCFC will kind of force her to her left. As White will track the end of this one, gets to it first, beats her defender, surveys her option, cuts it back, still with the ball. White deflected out.
And that's a good sign from Detroit City FC. Conceding 2 goals of that can kind of feel like a gut punch this early on in the match, but to still look forward, still press on. Kenna White maybe should have just shot a second sooner there, but nonetheless, great job to beat her defender and a good run down the flanks.
You can kind of see White's idea, so a little bit selfless there, wanted to survey her options and see if she could find a more open player. She already had 1 or 2 defenders trailing, as Bloomquist will take this corner kick. Second one for DCFC, hoping to get something on the end of it. Flicked away by Flint. Will go out all the way out for maybe not a throw-in. Still in play.
Hard to see from up here. I definitely thought that was going to trickle out, but nonetheless, Detroit City FC looking to build out of the back. This Flint team, in the W League this year, the top trump card is points per match. Flint leading the division with 2.33 points per match. It's been such a good year for this Flint side. You see them go down in games. Twice they were down against Kalamazoo. They rally back. They have the talent and the mentality to come back from big deficits, but here they're the one putting up a big deficit early on in this match.
And a lot of it comes from the fact that they do play club together. They've seen how they play, what they want, what foot do they want to receive it at. It's little stuff like that that if you've already had those years of experience together, it can be really helpful in this league. As another bending run there. She's got the pace. Thomas with the ball. Plays it into the penalty box. Still not out of the woods yet. Finally poked away for a corner kick.
Flint's first corner of the match.
And they are relentless in their attack.
Looks like it might have been judged. A little bit of confusion. Shriver thought maybe it was called for an offside or something like that, but nonetheless, it will be a Flint City AFC corner. A little bit of a confusion there.
I think maybe
she had the chance that just went by us. Yeah, just really can never control it, and good job by Lexi Smith to just get it out of play.
And I think
Shriver
probably thought that went off a Flint player. Still, corner goes past everyone. Headed away there. Flint with the throw in. And coming into this game, they had scored 28 goals on the season.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of run out of words to talk about how good this Flint City AFC squad is. And despite that, Detroit City FC has been more than in the 2 games against them so far. So, you know, right now, a little bit sort of a worrying sign, but Detroit City FC they have the quality to get back into this one. It's a matter of going out and doing it.
And talking about kind of, you know, goals allowed coming into this game, Flint had allowed 13. DCFC only allowed 12, so it was a positive number going into this game. But the tables have turned here as they look to get something going.
It's a good turn in the midfield there by Paget. Get her center backs involved. Moore just unable to corral that one in. Her first minutes, like I mentioned, since the season opener against Flint.
And now it's Martin with a breakthrough, a 3-on-3 situation, maybe 3-on-4, plays it out to White, who is wide open. Let's see what White can do. Just tripped up there, looked like a pretty hard tackle.
Yeah, White tried to shift it over to her left foot there inside the area. Just didn't have as much time as she thought she might have. Had Kayla Addison running up with her on the far side if she could see her. Good job there by Martin to move play further up the field. She kind of looked between White and Addison, not sure who to pass it to. Went over to White, and another half chance there for Detroit City FC.
And that's what Flint's able to do so well, is read those tactical moves. You saw White kind of do the same move, you know, just a couple minutes prior was she wanted to switch it on her left foot. And then she wanted to do the same thing again and was stopped there as Shriver will switch the play of all the way up the left-hand side, finding the feet of nobody. As DCFC struggle to kind of put some passes together. Like you said, Jared, they know they can do it. They have the potential to do so. They just need to be playing a little bit cool, calm, and collected.
And a goal here for Detroit City FC this evening. As things stand, we were $2,777 for this year's Pride Raiser campaign. Head over to prideraiser.org and contribute. Every home goal scored here for Detroit City FC, certain amount pledged by the supporters, will go and support the Ruth Ellis Center, trailblazing organization that does incredible work for LGBTQ plus youth in the city of Detroit.
Certainly.
So even if, you know, you get to this scoreline where it might feel like the game's over, there's still a lot to play for those players down there on the pitch.
And still a lot of time left. I mean, Flint again. It's Thomas on now the right-hand side, and Gattina will test her luck. Shriver bobbles it, but ends up collecting the ball.
Yeah, not too many times you see Gaetano flub a shot like that. Shriver there made the save the first time, kind of let it get away from her, but did well and had the reflexes to get up and snatch that one back. Boots it long.
Strong header there. He'll play it all the way back.
Addison giving chase to it.
And Addison can certainly put that pressure up top. She's a pest for defenders, forcing them to make mistakes. You'd like to see them maybe make a mistake if you're DCFC and try to capitalize on it, as Bloomquist is pressing just a little.
The last few minutes you've kind of seen Kenna White maybe drop back a little bit, and Sydney Bloomquist looks like she's in a more advanced role in that midfield. We're interested to see if that carries on. A little tactical tweak from the touchline.
And Press stepped. Now it's Sulis with the tackle, still with the ball is Flint. 2 defenders on her, and they will clear it.
It's Addison.
Addison giving chase, how about it?
Showing off.
She'll take her defender one-on-one. Has White in the middle. Oh, and an important stop there.
And that's such a difficult pass to get right. She kind of toe poked it in the direction of Kenna White. It's a great tackle to see that one not get to the feet of Kenna White, who, of course, from that distance could punish any goalkeeper. As Flint looks to establish a foothold once again.
And if McConnell didn't get a foot on it in the back, I mean, you got to think White would have been in. But good signs for DCFC after giving up those 2 goals. Just in case you're just now joining us, Flint scoring both of the goals in the opening 10 minutes. Another flick there as they look for another. Cross comes in, and the flick was no good by Abby Worthman.
There's been a lot of chances for Flint right there, getting the ball out to the wide positions from the midfield and playing dangerous ones into the area. A great run there by Worthman. And eventually just cleared away, booted forward by Detroit City FC, which could have been useful on the first one, I believe. Now, every single time Flint's been in that position, they've sort of not abandoned playing out of the back, but not being afraid to boot it forward and clear their lines and sort of reset and restructure as part of that defense.
And I think what's been a little bit of a struggle is winning the 50-50 balls in the midfield. That's where they've been hurting DCFC, because once they win those 50-50s, they've been able to now play it forward like they are doing now to Olivia Thomas. She's giving chase, has a couple players in the box still with the ball, will challenge Shriver, but she's got it locked down near that post. And
you know, the first 18 minutes have been exactly the blueprint that Flint used all season in the Great Lakes Division to be where they are. I mean, they're top of the division for a reason. We're seeing it here, just relentless going forward and super tight at the back as well.
And Flint, too, you can see it, just attack, attack, attack. They really have had almost no patience in these opening minutes. Another tackle there. And it was Pageant who maybe thought it was their throw, and still Flint with possession. Now Pageant with the ball, plays it back. They will look to reset. Picked off there, but White will regain possession. Now Bloomquist with the ball, twisting, turning, playing a square ball.
If we get a train horn going by, that'll boost morale a little bit here at Keyworth Stadium. Train is I've never seen a train go by that fast here at Keyworth. Backwards, nonetheless.
Showing their support for the home team. They will switch the field of play. Great cross.
It's good structured possession from Detroit City FC.
Pageant with the ball, trailing run. She will find Pruss. Now what can she do with it? Cross in, goes over the head of White.
And that exact formula is how Detroit City FC scored the game winner on Wednesday, getting Pruss in some space on the wing, following some clever play in the midfield. That time the cross just not enough, but the run from Kenna White was there. Look to see that one again as this match continues on.
And it's Thomas who has been an absolute pest for this DCFC defense, and they've seen a lot of good forwards so far this season. And Flint without one of their strikers, Sammy Woods, tonight. Good clearance there, but no DCFC player on the end of it.
Flint's more than comfortable to just stay on the ball, hold possession. They have a 2-0 lead, but they haven't slowed down their attack much, Veronica.
Yeah, and you maybe would have thought that after those first 2 early goals that they would have sat, maybe let DCFC have possession. Instead, Shriver will read it all the way for an easy grab.
Shriver not part of that squad that traveled to Cleveland on Wednesday. It was Dayton Waymer that started between the sticks, and then at halftime, Madison Vukas was subbed in. They shared the clean sheet earned on Wednesday evening as White putting a lot of pressure on the Flint City AFC back line.
And on that over-the-top ball, you maybe would like to see Addison or Bloomquist get on the end of it and maybe help White out. She was battling 2-3 defenders.
But the runs are still good to see. Despite the scoreline, Detroit City FC still trying to dig in and get something out of this game still. And there's a lot of time left. 70 minutes. It's cliche, obviously, but 2-0, most dangerous lead in the sport. Make it 2-1. The other team maybe gets nervous. And then if you're Flint, then, next goal could end it. So good to see Detroit City FC pushing on.
And, it changes to their starting 11, so they got to get used to how they play. As another over-the-top ball will find the feet of Martin. Martin plays it with the left foot over the head of Bauman, still collecting his Flint, and we'll let it go out for their throw.
And Martin's sort of been involved in every phase of play so far tonight. Been forward at times, been in the midfield, for the most part, but also helping out with the back line a little bit as well. It's been a great showing by Martin so far in these first 22 minutes. And you mentioned her and Padgett both play at Western Michigan University, and that chemistry that can come from that. And we're seeing it on display there in the midfield between those two.
And maybe, too, as DCFC, when they get those spells of possession, one of their attacking strengths, they're given the green light to shoot. They've shown that they can put the ball, whether it's, outside, out of the penalty box, outside of the 18. They've shown that they can put one in the back of the net. And you would maybe just like to see a little bit more tenacity as far as putting a shot on goal. Maybe if they find the space, take it.
Yeah, Gaetano's not going to get that kind of space to let off another shot again, especially with how powerful that right foot can be. We saw it on full display. And if that's not a USL W League Goal of the Week candidate, I do not know what is going to be. And with a shot like that, from that distance, with that power, there's really nothing Shriver can do with that one.
Certainly, as White gives it away there. Flint reads it. Still White trailing all the way back. Now Thomas. Thomas still with the ball.
Wow.
Important block there from Sulis.
Wow.
And Thomas let it fly.
Yeah, a great job from Thomas there to cut inside, create in the space. And then to get the shot off, too, is just as hard as creating the space is. See it again here. Just cutting inside. Looks like it was Pruss who was trying to give chase. It's part of that back line there. And frustrated. When you're frustrated with a chance like that, shows you the quality that she has in her locker.
And you've kind of seen Thomas go from one point of the field to the other. It's part of Flint's attack, that their forwards are making these overlapping runs, trying to confuse defenders as far as marking them up, not getting too comfortable. They still have the string of possession there, headed away, but still not out of the woods yet. Shriver comes off her line.
And again, great by Shriver to come off her line, recognize the situation, because if not, I believe Gaetano was making that overlapping run at an angle. Could have caused problems for the Detroit City FC back line. A foul will go against Flint here.
First one kind of called on the field. Just kind of kicked her from back.
I'm going to give a quick shout out to those tuning in on YouTube. Subscribe to the Detroit City FC YouTube channel for match highlights, player interviews, and more. Don't miss a moment of Detroit City FC content right here on the Detroit City FC YouTube channel. Thanks for tuning in.
Important header again from Sulis, making the big defensive stops as Thomas lost her footing there.
Kind of flubbed at that one. It's going to be a scissor kick type deal there. Just wasn't able to make contact with the ball.
Still, DCFC looking to break up any spell of possession they can. They look like a really comfortable team when they have it, and for now.
Yeah, Flint's quality on the ball is just exceptional. They've slowed the game down at times. They've sped it up at times. They're just really able to dictate play, and that's been the case all year as Addison wins the ball in the midfield and looks to kind of White.
White playing a little further back than normal.
Yep.
You could see what she was trying to do there, trying to find the run of Bloomquist. Played a little too hard all the way back to the Flint goalkeeper.
And if that's a shaped ball into Addison, I think you definitely see the run attack there. But, Bloomquist isn't really the type of player to run in behind because of her quality playing the balls in behind. So sort of a catch-22 situation there with Bloomquist. But nonetheless, a good idea from Kenna White, just really didn't execute as well as she would have liked.
And Martin has been trying to get something going on that left-hand side, whether it's just pressing a little bit. But you can see DCFC kind of started centrally, and Flint attacked the outside really well, and that's how they were able to capitalize on those first couple goals. But as a defensive unit, they move really well together. And it's Thomas again, not finding any luck after finding a lot of luck at the beginning of the game. Thomas has been relatively quiet these past few minutes as they'll look to get something going. White finding herself in a lot of space. taking her defender one-on-one. And just...
It's the lack of communication there between her and Addison. I thought she was getting ready to line up a shot like we saw Gaetano do. Nonetheless, tried to find Addison. It was a clever idea, just not on the same page there with her strike partner.
Oh, you could see just what she was trying to do. We talk about her selflessness as a striker, and sometimes maybe just let it fly.
And we see, you mentioned that she's dropping a little bit deeper, and that's sort of the most amount of space I've seen her in all night, as Pruss looks like she's going to push forward here.
Finding Bloomquist with some space. Wanted to play it quick and early to Addison. Still Bloomquist with the ball. Opts to play it wide and just doesn't find the feet of her teammate. DCFC are really going to look to just clean those up. You can see what they're trying to do. The game plan is there. It's all about execution now.
Yeah, just a tad frustrating so far from Detroit City AFC. I'm sure head coach Dave Dwahey and his staff are going to have some notes at halftime. Like you mentioned, you can see the ideas. You see what they're trying to accomplish, and it's been accomplished at times throughout the course of the season, sort of the same blueprint, just unable to get it done so far here against Flint.
And it wasn't so much that they started the game flat-footed. It was more so that Flint was just attacking way more and found themselves in better positions and were able to connect a lot better in those opening minutes.
Yeah, Flint was comfortable with this game at 0-0, and now at 2-0 so quickly. They've grown into it. They've become more comfortable. And they're at the point now where they can take risks if they want to keep scoring, but they also have the freedom of being able to sit back and sort of see the game out from this position, as we saw the bench right there for Detroit City FC. First-year head coach David Dwahey, part of the staff at University Liggett School in Grosse Pointe. Original founder and owner of Detroit City FC. Many roles for the club, a new one this year as head coach of this W League squad.
And it's Addison twisting and turning. She'll test her luck, not able to collect. And such a close opportunity for Addison. She maybe thought she had it. And the goalkeeper for Flint just bobbled it, wasn't able to collect. Oh, and Flint's got to feel really lucky off that one.
Wow. That was a great job by Addison to retain possession. And, once we saw this touch right here, she sort of did a quick spin, was able to beat her defender with strength. This moment right here, I was looking up thinking that was going into the back of the net. A great double slide tackle there from McConnell and Bowman, I believe, to keep Detroit City FC off of the board. And you're not going to see many better defensive actions than that after your goalkeeper's taken out of the play, unable to bring it in.
Flint's goalkeeper, Radwinski, just couldn't collect, and that was probably the best opportunity DCFC have had all halftime.
If you look at that from a face perspective, you can see Kayla Addison standing there through on goal. She puts a little bit more behind that toe poke. That's in the back of the net, and the game looks a lot different. But now Flint, if we mentioned they have the quality to go forward and attack and keep going at Detroit City FC, big chances like that will sort of put them back into their shell and maybe look forward to seeing this game out.
And credit to DCFC for making these tactical adjustments. You see the coaching staff kind of having a few words with White, having a few words with the midfielders as far as whose marks they're going to pick up. Too many open players in the opening minutes, which is what led to the goals. But they've looked to adjust more, and they've looked really, honestly, more comfortable these past 10 minutes of the game for DCFC for the home time. As Flint now will look to press. It's been all Thomas this half. Not so much the past couple minutes, but she'll look to get back into this game. Not if DCFC can keep their possession they have going now. As Martin on the other side of the field wanted to play it to White, broken up there.
Just not enough on that one. Bloomquist is going to try to press, but when Flint plays the ball to their center backs, it's just so easy, so comfortable for them. And, as they move further up the pitch, that comfortability and that ease doesn't really drop off too much. And that's, why they are where they are in the division and up in this match as well.
And you can kind of see Martin and Pageant switching sides of the field. Neither one of them are staying on one side, which kind of switches it up for Flint. As referee will pull that one back for a foul.
We're going to see it again here. Just a great turn by Addison. But that right there, that tiny touch with the palm, the left palm, to slow it down a little bit from Radwanski is the reason Detroit City FC were kept off the scoreboard. And then a double tackle coming in there between Lau Lauer, excuse me, and I believe it was McConnell. But that heads-up play by Radwanski to just get a palm on it, slow it down in any way that she can. Great job there, and great look by our camera operators up on top of the press box to show us that one.
Certainly, you could see the tenacity that this Flint team brings. It's Thomas again, but she'll be pulled back for an offside call.
Yeah, not usually you're in that much space that far up the pitch without being offside. A good call by the official on the far side of the pitch. And we sort of saw this against Midwest United. We saw it against Kalamazoo. Detroit City FC, just so many half chances, unable to turn them into full-fledged opportunities.
How about Pruss down that right-hand side? Unable to connect with Addison. And I think one of the weaknesses for Flint is we saw it against, Kalamazoo. When they played Kalamazoo, they're not able to clear it effectively all the time. You got to think that's something that DCFC want to capitalize on. Why not put these shots on net, test your luck, see if a keeper will bobble it like we saw with, Addison. And
yeah, and the other end of that coin, too, you mentioned, not being able to really clear it out of the back. That's how Flint got their first goal, was a lack of clearance from Detroit City FC, as we have another opportunity here.
And Thomas still with the ball, blocked last minute, and an important one at that. Keeping it in also.
Wow. Thomas is unbelievable when she has space on the far side, trying to dribble into the area. That's the second time we've seen her receive the ball in that position and then create the space for herself to rip off a shot.
She'll play it in, but it'll go out for a goal kick for Shriver, as DCFC will look to move up the pitch.
We see Thomas there once again. We'll see it. Pruss, no answers there. Lexi Smith dribbled inside of, and then it was a great tackle at the last second there from, I believe that was Sulis, coming in to see that ball out of play and keep the deficit at 2.
And what makes Thomas so effective is she's able to use her body really well as far as twisting and turning, putting her body in a position where she can succeed, whether it's receiving it on the foot she wants or taking the space that she wants as well. Both teams kind of fighting for possession right now. Flint happy to keep it away. So the fans try to get their home team going.
Madison Duncan, good clearance there.
Broken up there. Addison gives chase. Plays it all the way back to their goalkeeper.
And again, a great job there by Kayla Addison to keep the pressure on, not make it too easy for Flint to clear their lines. Just, one split second sooner there, and Kayla Addison's through on goal. But nonetheless, a great job. You kind of got to wonder how long that can keep up for. And, it's not the hottest day ever, but running that hard, there's only so many minutes that can take place.
And as far as conserving your energy, when does Addison give chase? When does White give chase? As far as switching turns on and off.
Yeah, with how, almost brutal this W League season is, played on Wednesday, played on Saturday, the Detroit City FC have probably their biggest spell without a game of the season, 11 days until they welcome Cleveland Force here at Keyworth Stadium. So if there's ever a match that you're going to give it your all, you're going to go 90 and run as hard for as long as you can, it's going to be tonight with that big gap between games.
And now it's more battling it out. White continuing to pressure. And Flint keeping it at bay. They looked like they wanted a third goal, but these past 10, 15 minutes, they've been happy to take their chances when they want, but they're also happy to play it through their back line. They're really comfortable at doing so. As an over-the-top ball will travel all the way to Thomas, but Shriver reads it all the way.
Yeah, there was a split second there where Shriver didn't look too sure about coming out, but eventually made the decision to shut down Thomas. And that was sort of the first time Thomas has been played through on goal in a position where she could run out of the frame without having to show off any tricks or skills to create the space for the shot. So good awareness there by Shriver once again. And, if you're a younger goalkeeper on this squad, obviously Shriver's the goalkeeping coach on the staff as well. So she'll be passing that along to the likes of Waymer and Vukic, showing them when to come, when to sort of stay between the frames. We see Thomas once again here.
DCFC coaching staff wanted a foul, and they didn't get it. And Thomas will test her luck, hits the crossbar. Still not out of the woods, and it's Thomas again, poked away. Oh, and an important one at that. Flint again almost had their third goal. And Thomas maybe thought she had the third goal.
See it again here. Sulis was tracking back, doing the best that she could, but onto that left foot was Thomas. It's a powerful strike, well placed. That just goes off the post. Posts were still square like they used to be back in the day. Perhaps that falls into the back of the net, but that time out, and then Detroit City FC able to eventually clear their lines.
Not sure if Shriver even got a fingertip on it, but nonetheless, DCFC really happy that that didn't go in. When we talk about Thomas's pace up top, it's been burning, whether it's on the left side, whether it's on the right, or through the middle. Flint happy to play it through their back line. Another over-the-top ball. Sulis with the header.
It's a great header out by Sulis. Take some pressure off the back line before Shriver's able to hold on to it and settle things down just a little bit. Through 37 minutes, when Shriver's had to act, she's been out, she's been doing it, made a couple huge claims up in the air, but those 2 early goals, not really much she could do on either of them.
Now it's White who will keep it in. Taking her defender one-on-one, dishing it off to Bloomquist. Will trickle out for, looks like a goal kick.
I thought it was a goal kick. Sydney Bloomquist is certainly the last one to get the message, I believe, that that was a goal kick. Thought she was upset at Tim Robinson there for a second, if I think you should leave, but I think just not too happy with the decision from the far side official. It's one of those 50-50 ones where from up here and from maybe certain angles it looked like a corner, but referee was closer to it than we were.
I think the AR had a really good look at it as far as who was the last one that touched it, and Bloomquist, with the experience that she has, she knows if officials aren't too sure, she'll just take it herself, make the call herself. But
she, a little bit biased on her end too. I think she would have preferred a corner than a Flint goal kick, but nonetheless, that was a decision on the field, and Flint back to what they've been up to for the last 39 minutes, playing the ball through the back and working their way up the field. That was a great dribble there from Thomas, but just I believe the boot was judged to be a little bit too high, getting past Duncan.
It was the high kick that endangered the other player that referee will call all day. But again, talk about Thomas. She's on that right-hand side. Minutes ago, she was just on the left-hand side, putting a cross in.
Yeah, it's hard to figure out where you want to mark her with how dynamic she is and how explosive she can be running forward. Obviously caused a ton of problems so far on this near side, and then decided, I believe probably a tactical adjustment, switch to that far side, see if there's any success over there. But I don't think it'll be long before we see her back on this near side with the success she was having against Pruss.
Certainly not. And again, DCFC not able to win the initial 50-50 ball up in the air.
It's going to go out once again for a Flint City AFC throw-in.
39 minutes gone. Flint 2, Detroit City FC 0. They battle it out. Flint still collects, plays the square ball. The through ball, trying to find the feet of Gaetano. And AR will pull that one back for a goal kick. Another one of those things that Gaetano thought maybe it didn't cross the line.
And that was a good run there. Diagonal runs are always dangerous for back line, especially when the quality service in is that good. But just dribbled over the line before she could get the wing back involved further up the pitch. Good pressing here by Detroit City FC. Kenna White and Bloomquist looking to cause a turnover in Flint's half.
And I think that's something we're seeing that also they're adjusting to, is at the beginning of the game they weren't kind of pressing as a team. It was just one or two players, but they're pressing better together as a unit, as a whole going forward. Something they need to continue on if they're going to be successful for the rest of the game.
And we're seeing a lot of tweaks to this Detroit City FC attacking line. In moments we've seen Kenna White being the one that runs behind the defense, but now we're seeing her drop a little deeper as Thomas looks like she's through on goal.
Thomas with the breakthrough, taking her on one-on-one, and she slots it home. And it was the over-the-top ball. Thomas with the speed and pace beats her defenders out for the third goal for Flint City AFC.
And with the time that Thomas has been given, the space that she's been given, we'll see it again here. Gaetano, the goal scorer, now turned the assister. It was a great run by Thomas. The composure to put it away with the right foot on that near side, near post. And with the space she was being given, the time she was being given, it was almost inevitable that she would be on the score sheet today. She does it there to put her side 3-0 up after 41 minutes of play.
I think DCFC were just caught a little flat-footed on that one. They weren't expecting Gaetano to play it so far up the pitch so quickly at that. And that's how Thomas was able to be really successful. Before, those over-the-top balls weren't really working. Either Shriver came off her line, but it was the perfectly placed ball that did it for Flint City AFC.
Yeah, and you know, with how we mentioned the fluidity of the Detroit City FC attack, that run right there, that goal combination shows how fluid Flint can be as well. Obviously, Gaetano was, leading the line for the first 42 minutes of this match. All of a sudden, drops a little bit deeper, and that was the most central run we've seen from Thomas all evening. So that combination caused problems for Detroit City FC, who now find themselves 3-0 down.
And it's Thomas again with the time and space, playing it in. Oh, and Shriver with the kick save.
Great save by Shriver, but Thomas still looking around the area.
Bloomquist wanted to get on the end of that, and a sliding tackle keeps it in Flint's possession. Going back to the Shriver kick save, I mean, Thomas probably thought she was in as Gaetano just runs into too many DCFC shirts.
Yeah,
Shriver
I honestly
collects.
expected Thomas to unleash a shot there. We'll see it again here. Just a right-footed ball across the area. It was a great idea because Pruss was beaten, and her attacker was onside with her as well, but just unable to find that pass. And Shriver, unbelievable save to keep her side within 3 goals in this first half.
And the Worthman-Thomas-Gaetano connection has been outstanding so far this half as referee pulls that one back for a DCFC kick.
And kind of at the point in the season, as these summer soccer seasons tend to go, where availability is everything. So you're having to solve all these problems in your lineup with player availability, if they're able to come to the match or not. So a lot of tweaking out of Detroit City FC, more coming back into the squad. Pruss getting her second start on that right-hand side. Whereas Flint's been able to field pretty similar lineup for the whole season. So that you mentioned the chemistry, the experience playing together on full display here tonight.
And I think what happened is DCFC probably thinks they solve one problem and then Flint creates another, and it's just a matter of being able to adjust in a timely manner. I mean, we saw Pruss and Thomas, she was getting burned on that kind of right-hand side by Thomas, so they make the adjustment. They have a second defender come in. Okay, then Thomas switches to the other side, creates problems there. It's just been a matter of being able to get a string of possession for DCFC. They'll look to get something going as Gaetano, not a great shot off. This player of her caliber probably wanted a better one as Shriver.
Yeah, I thought for a second there was going to be same song, different verse there from Gaetano, just letting it fly from the edge of the area yet again. Just kind of flubbed her lines a little bit, and that one was always going to end up in the hands of Gabby Shriver, who boots it forward to Kenna White.
Addison will bring it down, but runs into too many Flint City AFC shirts. And it's Thomas again. No offside call there. Shriver comes off her line.
And not often you see Thomas with a bad first touch there, but I think it was that first touch that kept Shriver in the play right there and allowed her to come off her line and get it. If that touch from Thomas is the one we've seen all night, it's another dangerous chance at goal for the visitors.
A great bring down there by White, able to find her teammate. White again with the ball, dishes it off. Now an over-the-top ball.
Duncan now seems to have switched sides to this near side, so her and Pruss swapping sides. Not sure if that's to slow down Thomas or slow down Gaetano. I'm sure they would love to slow down both of those dangerous forwards for Flint this evening.
And you can see Thomas going forward. Now Flint with a lot of time and space tests their luck and finds the back of the net for the 4th goal. And I think that was Slater.
Yeah, going from bad to worse here for Detroit City FC, who just can't seem to get out of their own way in this one. Just another banger of a strike there. Looks like it was Worthman that time from outside of the area with her left foot. Couple goal of the week candidates from Flint City AFC in this one so far, as Flint adds to their tally before the end of this first half.
And whether it's Worthman, Thomas, or Gaetano, they all have the ability to put one in the back of the net. 4-0.
Moore now on the ball, shifting it forward.
Now Addison on the end of it, trying to bring it down, has the time and space, and just over the net.
And a great job there by Addison again to create the space, get in a shooting position, was patient with it, got it over to her left, and just unable to bring it on target. Veronica, not often you see a 4-0 scoreline at the half. Talk about that first 45 and what Detroit City FC has to do better in the second.
Well, Flint came out pressing. I think it kind of took DCFC off guard a little bit. Goals from Gaetano, Thomas, and Worthman, their front line. And DCFC just not being able to weather the storm. They need to stay composed going into the second half, whether it's a tactical change or not. I mean, Jarrett, your thoughts?
Yeah, just a lot that Detroit City FC has to get right in this second half of play. It will be, mostly down to the defense to be able to adjust and change things just a little bit. But so far, Detroit City FC has a massive hole to climb out of in the second half of action. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Stay tuned for the second half of action from Keyworth Stadium.
Hello and welcome back to Keyworth Stadium. Detroit City FC taking on Flint City AFC. The halftime score 4-0 in favor of Flint City. Hello everybody and welcome to our broadcast from all of our crew. I'm Veronica Bolanos alongside Jarrett Mackey. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, it was a tough first half for Detroit City FC. A couple of very good goals given up, two very early on in the match, the first 10 minutes. The first one just failed to clear their lines, and on the second one, they let Gaetano have a little bit too much space, a rocket of an effort. And then after that, Detroit City FC, I thought, kind of did well to get back into the game despite the scoreline. A few dangerous chances through Kayla Addison, Kenna White, and Emily Paget as well. But then Flint, before the half, added two more to their total, and that's how we got where we are after the first 45 minutes of play. A lot of work for Detroit City FC to do, Veronica.
And for Flint, the goal coming in the 6th minute from Abby Worthman. In the 8th minute, Gaetano. And then in the 41st minute, it was Thomas. And then Worthman again in the 45th minute. So a lot of those goals, it's all about the starting, opening, 5 or 6 minutes, and then how do they close out the half? And I think that's got to be what Dwayne he's saying to his team right now is we got to come out good. We got to come out composed, not flat-footed. And it wasn't so that DCFC was flat-footed. It was just Flint City was outpacing them up top. They were switching it up. They were mixing it up. They didn't see the same style of attack too much, whether it was an over-the-head ball, which Flint City normally doesn't play, but they tested their look out today, and it's been working with Thomas because she has the ability to get on the end of them.
Yeah, and it wasn't an effort thing from Detroit City FC. I thought they played well throughout the match and definitely tried to press on to Flint, but it was a speed thing, it was a sharpness thing, and I think it was a communication thing in a lot of cases as well, as we see the teams back out on the pitch. I believe there's been a couple subs made for Detroit City FC. No word yet on what those might be. See the assistant coach.
And it's DCFC who will start with the ball for the second half, as they have quite a hill to climb here. Still 45 minutes left to play as they get ready to start this second half. And we are underway here at Keyworth Stadium. DCFC already playing the long ball over the head of some Flint City players, starting off with a lot of momentum, as Flint already with kind of a breakaway here, bobbling it back and forth, both teams fighting for possession in the opening couple seconds.
The newly introduced Grimaldo making herself known here early on.
And it'll be interesting to see what kind of pace she brings to the DCFC play. How can she get on the end of the long balls? As that will trickle all the way back to Shriver. She will collect comfortably. Shriver will play it long. Giving chase. It might have been a possible handball. Calls for one. Doesn't get it. Dribbling still. DCFC with the ball. Already making an impact, and the cutback didn't find the feet of Addison.
And Jekyll there early on, her first impact of the second half. We saw the talent that she had. It was on full display in her cameo appearance against Midwest United on Friday. Been on the pitch for 90 seconds so far and has done something there to get her team forward, get her team looking up, and maybe lifting the spirits just a little bit. Bloomquist to Jekyll now, edge of the area. Good job separating from her defender there. Just unable to square up that ball.
And you can already kind of see Grimaldo and Jekyll bringing the pace of play, something DCFC wasn't totally lacking in the first half, but just bringing a new energy, a nuance to this second half.
And just also as well bringing fresh legs as well. We mentioned how it wasn't really an effort thing from Detroit City FC in the first half. Jekyll comes on with fresh legs, as well as Grimaldo, to continue the press and maybe amplify it in some areas of the field too.
And it'll be interesting to see what kind of game plan Flint will come in, already being ahead by 4 goals. Are they going to press much, or are they happy sitting back and letting DCFC attack? As we see, again, the pace of play here by Jekyll, cutting inside. And a sliding tackle there. Referee calls it fair. Jekyll back up on her feet. Nice over-the-head ball to Grimaldo, battling. Gets on the end of it, twisting, turning. Now playing it out wide. Service in. And it hits the post. And that service almost looked like it was going nowhere until it hit the post and caught the Flint City back line off guard. And already a lot of life here from DCFC. They're looking to create a lot of chances in these opening minutes. Now Flint trying to respond. Turning up the pace of play, playing the square ball from the trailing run. Oh, how about White getting all the way back?
And that was almost a sort of a fluke goal there from Detroit City FC, but being 4-0 down at the half, you'll take any goals you can get. And I guarantee you the Ruth Ellis Center and those involved with Pride Raiser will take anything they can get. Madison Duncan there, right-footed. It definitely was a cross, but it hit that far frame and trickled back to the Flint City AFC back line. The 2 subs at the half for Detroit City FC. We saw number 22, Melanie Moore, replaced by Grimaldo in the midfield. And we saw number 3, Drew Martin, come off and being replaced by Lily Jekyll. So shuffle the deck just a little bit there from Dave Dwayhe.
Couple tactical matchups. Grimaldo will let it fly. Just wasn't able to get full contact with it and goes way over the goal. Maybe would have liked to see her put her laces on it and have her body a little bit more over the ball. You can kind of see there she created a lot of space for herself, and as she took the shot, she was just leaning just a little bit back.
And she definitely had a lot of the goal to aim for there, but I believe the Flint keeper would have gotten over to it had she needed to, but that one sails over and out of play for a goal kick as Flint coming out of this halftime break the same way they went into it, sort of dominating play and looking forward at all times as that one just dribbles out for a Gabby Shriver goal kick.
And the Flint keeper, Radwanski, at 5'10". She's can cover a lot of that goal, certainly. She hasn't seen too much action, but a lot more in this second half already than she did the first.
Yeah, and that Madison Duncan chance will be a morale boost for the Detroit City FC squad. Probably their best, except for that, as we see a strike sail over and out of play. That one had some power behind it. Sails over the bar. I believe that was the newly introduced Flint forward.
DCFC will look to get something going here. White to Grimaldo. Grimaldo, nice trailing run there. Just not able to get on the end of it. You could see what they were trying to do. It was a good combination play up until the ball was played out.
And Duncan very much more advanced up the pitch this half than she was all of last half. So definitely just trying to throw something at it. You get an early goal, who knows? But certainly a mountain to climb for Detroit City FC, and time is not on their side.
And you like to see more of that from Duncan. The trailing run has been really successful. That's how they've created their opportunities. You like to see how much more of that she can do while conserving her energy throughout the half. As now Thomas will run it down all the way into the corner.
The last player you want to see through on goal is Thomas. Dribbled out of play that time. Probably the first mistake you've seen out of Thomas all game. Usually just so lethal when making those runs in behind. Kind of let that one go out of play there. And foot comes off the gas a little bit for Flint.
She was about to give Smith a run for her money if that ball was kept in. Now Grimaldo looking to attack. Playing it out wide. Bruce. Ball in. Addison was offside, but how about Jekyll? Just not able to run it down fully.
And great effort by Jekyll there to try to keep that one in play. You know, you put a player on at half, you probably tell them don't look at the scoreline, just go out there and play your game. We've seen that so far from Jekyll, and a good job to try to keep that one in. Just a little bit too much speed on the ball on that occasion.
Something from DCFC that you maybe want to see more of is how stagnant they are in terms of when they're pressing. Is that when Grimaldo stepped up, nobody was there to kind of be a little bit more stagnant and interrupt the possession for Flint. Another over-the-top ball, switching the play of field all the way to Thomas, taking on Pruce. Testing her luck on her right foot.
Wow. And it's hard to get off a shot from that angle in the first place, but to pin it in that far corner and make it difficult for Shriver is just another level of difficulty. A great shot there by Thomas.
Grimaldo playing the ball out wide. Jekyll trying to find White. And it's McConnell who can't collect. So we take another look here. Thomas just the tiniest, narrowest space, and she's able to get a shot off. That's what makes her so dangerous.
Thomas played for David Dwayhe at University of Liggett School just a couple of months ago. Now she's his biggest headache as she's dictated play.
And now White might be in. She looks for her opportunity, and it goes wide.
And that's just, it's such a difficult angle to get a shot off from there, but did well to get it off, just unable to kind of wrap it and try to hit that far post, and that one goes out of play.
It was off the left foot. It was a great look, probably one of her best all night. And McConnell otherwise has been safe and sound in that back line. The 5'6" defender started in all 18 games for Wisconsin. Now Flint will look to respond. Thomas again. We've mentioned her before. Gets the cross in. No luck there. Can Flint answer again? No.
Wow. Saved by the goal line there. Gabby Shriver, she was alert and over to it to keep Flint off of the board in the second half of play here. Sort of hold your breath moment there for Detroit City FC, and this time the shot came in from Slater, unable to put it home.
And we talked about how Flint would go and attack or not attack in this second half. They don't seem to be slowing down any which way as Thomas keeps it in, battling it out, eventually losing it to Pruce, playing it up the field to Jekyll. Now Bloomquist.
Great job by Jekyll there. Great bravery to get a foot in there, and now Detroit City FC breaking, but Kenna White just unable to corral it. Does well to retain possession and spray it out to Duncan.
How about the physical battle there from White, just beating her defender to retain possession for her team. Can they capitalize? Grimaldo with a high cross in. Still White with the header cross. She found herself offside. Good job on Grimaldo's part to kind of see the vision. White was wide open on that far side. Flint not reading that well.
Yeah, the play kind of broke down just a little bit once White wasn't able to corral it first time, but did well to maintain possession. And then Duncan out wide tried to serve the ball into the area, just found White, who was just in an offside position.
That was a great step from Pruce earlier, trying to get possession for her team. A trailing run there.
Ball played
Shriver
across by Caldwell.
Grimaldo on that far-hand side cuts it in. Bloomquist wanted the ball. Instead, she opts to play it to Addison, and Addison with the trailing run with the ball, still with the ball, and a last-minute tackle. The last-ditch effort is what saved Flint.
It's a situation right there where maybe Addison could have shot just a little bit sooner, but a good run, good sign, and I hate to sound like a broken record, but this Detroit City FC team just generates so many half chances that are unable to develop into scoring plays, Flint now building out of the back. I mentioned, they might be comfortable in slowing the game down, but now at 4-0, you really have nothing to lose to continue to go forward and maybe help out that goal difference just a little bit. Not that it needs much help, Veronica, but still.
And Flint
Support.
not staying back as much as maybe we thought they would. They look to still press a little bit. Far across there. Will Thomas chase it down? Yes, she does. And she finds herself with a whole lot of space. Pruce shutting it down, staying with her, trying to force her out.
And that's sort of the first time all night we've seen Pruss sort of win that battle against Thomas. It's kind of sound like a broken record when you say it, but Thomas is just so lethal. We'll see the Kayla Addison chance here. Again, a great job to cut inside. Got the best of Bowman, but Bowman didn't last for long, that advantage, as she did well to poke the ball away. Back to the current moment. Flint corner ready to be played in from that near side.
The first one for them on the second half. It was Thomas who rose up for the header. Playing it back out wide.
This time it was Grimaldo that gets a foot into it. Goes out of play.
Talk about Grimaldo's fresh legs. I mean, she was on that far side, you know, just moments ago. Now defending on this near side. She's been all over the pitch so far for DCFC. What can Flint create here off of their throw in? Battling it out for the cross. Not really finding the feet of any Flint players. As a hard tackle there. And White was on the end of it. It was Tillotson. They look to both be okay. Both kind of just going for it. And I don't know if they saw each other or not, but nonetheless, Shriver will take the kick.
Good kick by Shriver, just unfortunately able to connect with her forwards there, but Detroit City FC win the ball back nonetheless.
Bloomquist twisting, turning, cutting it all the way to Addison.
Addison just feels so isolated on that far side. You know, she has the skills to dribble past defenders, but just really no one to lay it off to, no other movement in the box to get her teammates involved further up the pitch. And Flint's done a great job dealing with her so far.
Now Thomas battling it out, puts a shot on, and again hits the post. Flint still with the attack, half volley blocked.
And with the 4-0 scoreline, it has to be said, Flint has hit the bar on 3 separate occasions in this match so far. It's an unbelievable attacking display from the visitors this evening.
Another cross to Thomas. Pruce, Thomas, a battle we've seen all night. Still Thomas, still Thomas. And just trickles past the goal.
Wow, and that, we'll see it again from Thomas here, getting the best of Pruss. And from that same exact position, a couple minutes ago, she took that shot on the other end of the pitch right before the half. That one rattled off the crossbar as well. And Detroit City FC, a couple minutes after that, had to stand tall once again to see off a goal line clearance. After a clever little flick on the goal line, see a corner coming in now from deep for Flint.
And the post has been one of DCFC's best friends so far tonight. Again, lucky to not be giving up a goal there as the cross comes in. Thomas with the header way wide, upset with herself, wanted to position herself a little better.
And Thomas has just been unbelievable tonight, just causing problems every single time she's on the ball, being able to break forward through that back line. Just an exceptional performance out of a very dangerous attacking player.
And the header goes over the Flint defense, but again, it's McConnell that clears it.
McConnell's been asked to clear a couple of those opportunities for her back line there. Another great job doing it there. And Addison, she has these little sniffs of goal, just unable to really put anything together to get a true bona fide chance, except for that one she had earlier. She'll want that one back as this game drags on. It's going to be a foul there in the midfield.
And it kind of came from behind, which is why the referee pulled that one back. Addison didn't really get any of the ball. McConnell hit the deck.
Got a substitution here for Flint. Looks like number 22, Madison Canada, is going to come on to replace Thomas. So just a great shift out of Thomas this evening, being replaced by Canada here in the 62nd minute. So Thomas makes her way to the bench, having scored for her side this evening, hit the bar on 2 other occasions. Just an unbelievable performance from her out of night, and she gets about a 30 minutes rest here at Keyworth Stadium, not having to continue on as Flint looking forward once again.
The cross comes in, cleared out, all the way out to the edge of the 18. Still not out of the woods yet. Now at the top of the key, finding her shot blocked by Bruce.
And Detroit City FC, they'll want to get the ball to Jekyll more. They'll want to get the ball to Bloomquist more. This half, they've been a lot more direct, a lot of over the top, not really too much playing in the midfield. As time ticks on to find a goal, and the further it ticks on, you kind of wonder if it's going to be a consolation goal at that point. But of course, during the month of June, no such thing as a consolation goal with the Pride Raiser campaign. So we'll see.
Now Shriver coming off her line to clear it, and a couple of bodies fell on her. You kind of see DCFC looking to collect. You don't want to see Reese Slater with a lot of time and space, the Xavier commit. It's Slater still with the ball, dishes it off to her back line, McConnell.
Flint's just so comfortable with the ball in this game in any phase of the pitch. Not too much worry on it there when Detroit City FC is pressing them. They know they can, they look up, they have multiple passing opportunities. It's never a one-stop shop for them, and that's a part of the reason they are where they are in this match.
See, they're double teamed. Now with the breakthrough here. Jekyll still with the ball, testing her luck, and just sails over the goal.
And Jekyll, I think the whole time, wanted Addison's run to be a little bit wider. She kept glancing over to her right there while bombing forward, just unable to find her, and thought, hey, I'll go for the shot myself. And that's how Flint scored their second, so can't blame her there in that position. A good job to just let it fly if you think you can do that.
Smith will dish it to Shriver. You've seen a little bit more of Slater from Flint this half. Now without Thomas on that side on the pitch.
Shriver under a little bit of pressure there, but did well to play it out. Good job ball roll there by Lexi Smith before playing it back to Shriver. You've seen flashes of sustained possession. You've seen moments of structure from this Detroit City FC team, just not enough to really have an impact in this match.
And Flint's so good at getting numbers back, but a good matchup here as Addison has the overarching run from White, unable to connect. And again, it's the little things that have been amounting for DCFC, whether it's just too much of a touch or not being able to get that final pass across. It's been burning them all night long.
Just a slight lack of sharpness out of the midfield, and in Detroit City FC's losses this season, it's kind of been the case for that. Midwest United here, Kalamazoo here, just it's not an effort thing, it's not a determination thing, it's just unable to connect those passes, communication, patience at times. It's tricky for Detroit City FC in these moments.
There's Proust with a good read there. 2 bodies on the ball now. Jekyll will collect. Addison a little slow to start her run, but still has the ball. Twisting, turning, bodying her defender off the ball. Still Addison with the ball. Gets a shot off and blocked.
I thought Addison's original run right there, she would have had the speed to burn the defender, did well enough to get away from her with the dribble, elected to take it out wide, and that's where the Flint City center backs kind of wisened up to what was going on that occasion.
And it was Phil Potts with the block, the 5'5" defender from Fenton. Plays at DePaul University.
See a corner now for Detroit City FC. And in moments like this, it oftentimes is set pieces that can get you back into it, get you a goal. We'll see if that's the occasion here. Bloomquist going to play it in.
Seeing if they can capitalize. Ball inside. Addison tried to connect with the header.
Addison always dangerous on those corners. Last year, of course, scored the second goal en route to a draw against Kings Hammer. It was a late goal, considered one of the highlights of last season was Kayla Addison's late goal at the death to steal an equalizer against Kings Hammer right here at Keyworth Stadium. Flint just not afraid to play out from the back. No reason to. It's worked out for them so far the first 68 minutes of this match and the rest of the minutes on this season as well.
They're still pressing, finding her all the way out wide with the time and space, cutting it back, still with the ball. Now the square ball trickling in. Now the half volley goes in.
5th goal from Flint of the evening. Just, again, one of those situations where the ball's bouncing around. No one really has control over it, but Flint takes control, puts it into the back of the net for their 5th goal on the evening.
Absolutely clinical inside the box. Flint have been nothing short of perfect going forward.
See it again here. Just sort of hung out inside of the penalty area for a little bit too long and eventually tucked home for the 5th goal of the evening. Kind of played across there. Great job by Sulis to keep it off the line. Then on the second time of asking, tucked away by the substituted Canada.
And again, for Flint, what's been really dangerous for them is even if they don't get the first ball off or the second ball off, they still are pressing. They still are going forward. They have the tenacity and grit that they've shown all night long. And it's what has led to this score right now. And again, happy to keep the ball away. Now Grimaldo with the pickoff. She's got the time and space. Addison to her right. Dishes it off to Addison. Now Addison lets it fly and blocked.
There's been a couple occasions tonight where I've wondered, where's the delay coming from in taking these shots for Detroit City FC? And again this time Addison was on target, just unable to rifle it home in a corner now for Detroit City FC. But that's one of the most promising chances of the evening. We'll see it again here. A great, perfectly weighted ball by Grimaldo. Just that right-footed strike saved by Radwanski.
Bloomquist with the corner. Puts it in the penalty area. Header up and away.
Was a defensive header, so it will be another corner for Detroit City FC, who are enjoying a little bit of a spell right now, right after conceding their 5th of the evening.
Bloomquist again. She's taken so many corners for this team. Puts it in the box. And again, the Flint City goalkeeper collects. Radwanski has been nothing short.
It's a great grab by Radwanski. Corners are such a hectic set piece that you have everyone running in different directions, oftentimes bodying goalkeepers a little bit, and a great job there to show her composure to get up and claim that one for her side to keep the clean sheet.
And in case you're just joining us, Flint tallying one more goal to their 4-0 lead in this second half. Goal coming from Maddie Canada to make it 5 goals for Flint. They're still pressing.
We'll see 2 more subs getting readied on this near side for Detroit City FC. Looks like it's going to be Amanda Britton as well as Danny Evans. And what does that say? 2, a third gets added into the equation as Flint's going to be called for offside there.
The string of substitutions will come on. Bloomquist, Addison will come off, so will Paget. Like to see what these string of substitutions will do for the pace of play as referee pulls that one back.
Sort of a welcome to the match moment there for Amanda Britton, who her first touch sees her hit the deck, getting tackled.
Dishing it all the way wide. Nice trailing run there. And that'll be pulled back for the offside, just not able to watch the line. DCFC have been pulled back for an offsides call quite a few times in this match. Would like to see them maybe a little bit more disciplined, pulling their run back, making it a little bit more bending instead of the straightforward runs they've been going through tonight.
Flint City AFC throwing everything they got at Flint, looking to get a goal here, lift the morale, and lift that Pride Raiser total for the month of June to support the Ruth Ellis Center. If you're watching, go to prideraiser.org, find Northern Guard Supporters Campaign or any campaign that suits your fancy during the month of June. Multiple, why not go for it and get that total up. Every home goal scored here at Keyworth by Detroit City FC adds to that total. Frost heads it away. Anna Crum played for Midwest United FC last season. Now for Detroit City FC, been a bit part player at times for Rouge.
The fans trying to bring their team alive, down by 5 in the 74th minute now. Most of Flint City goal scorers have been subbed off. Nice string of possession here from the away team, broken up there beautifully by Evans. Dishes it off, but picked off. Still, Evans will recollect, loses her footing, battling it out, still on the ground. Not able to regain possession for her team, but how about the grit and fight from Evans? One of the many substitutes to come on the field. Referee pulls that one back in the center circle.
Lily Jekyll tried to get something there, just unable to win the ball cleanly in the eyes of the referee. That one goes against her. We'll see Flint trying to get back to what they're doing, and just clever bounce passes in the midfield. The referee says that was a clean tackle. Hannah Crum there sees that one played out. It's going to be a throw into Flint. Half of the players on the field agreed with that one. The other half disagreed. I'll let you decide which side those players were on.
How about Evans picking off another one? Still the press comes from Flint, not happy with just staying back. They continue to press. Flint with the ball. Now at the top of the key.
Clever layoff. And you know, you think with all these subs that Flint have made, maybe they'll sort to slow down a little bit. The players that came on want to prove themselves and work their way into the starting 11 as we get down in the stretch of the W League, and a Flint team that's definitely going to see the postseason with the way things currently stand. So these players want to prove themselves, show that they have what it takes to be a part of this 11 and you know, make an impact.
Certainly, you kind of see the pace being brought on here from the substitutes. They've been winning the 50-50s. Referee kind of calling a lot of fouls these last couple minutes as some of the legs grow tired, and mixed with a couple of substitutes that have come on.
Speaking of substitutes, I believe we're going to get another one here. I think the Detroit City FC wanted to make it on that occasion. The fourth official down here had her hand up, but just unable to get it on. Looks going to be Maya Romeo coming on for Detroit City FC. It's Flint bringing it to the hosts this evening. 5-0 scoreline after 76 minutes of play. Kenna White still showing she's got some left in the tank. Haven't said her name too much this half.
She's been really quiet, but also she's been doing a lot more defensive work, which is maybe why we haven't seen too much of her up top.
Been
and
pretty isolated at times. Her and Addison before she made her way off of the pitch. Halftime subs, you know, Lily Jekyll, Grimaldo, they've been involved in play, just not as much as maybe Coach Dwayne and his staff would have liked them to be.
Still DCFC give chase. They do not want to be shut out at their home turf, as Pruss will run that one down for a DCFC throw. And now we might see the substitute.
Romeo entering the match, I believe. That could be 11, Lexi Smith coming off. So number 36, Romeo on.
And Smith put in a good shift for her team. Battle to the very last minute. She was really consistent in that defensive line. They had to deal with a lot of it as Kenna White takes a push from the back. Referee pulls that one back.
She was pushed to the ground, got right back up. I think some of the members of the Detroit City FC backline would have liked to have seen the advantage played there. It looks like they had an idea. Back to goal with the striker. Players running beyond her, but nonetheless, a foul was called, and Detroit City FC will resume following a dead ball.
We'll see what kind of tactical matchup or tactical changes, excuse me, will happen for DCFC as they try to at least pull one back as it goes all the way back to Shriver. Nice over-the-top ball. Trailing run there from Crum, taking her defender on. Now Crum will try to get the left-footed cross off and blocked by Flint City. It goes out for a corner kick nonetheless. And it will be Crum the one who will be taking the corner kick. Something that Bloomquist normally does. She was subbed off. Now Crum serving it in to her team. Headed away there. Now back to Crum. She's seen a lot of the ball these last few minutes. Pushing it out to her left foot, and that'll trickle out for another corner kick. It was Lauer that got a piece of that one. Serving it in the box. Bobbling around. No, with a shot wide.
Oh. That one was dipping just a little bit. There was appeals for handball there in the area by Detroit City FC. There's Martin that ended up, or excuse me, Evans that let the shot go.
And Evans, if you're Evans, why not? You were found the time and space, something that's not often found when you're playing against Flint City. Flint playing it back, resetting. Switching the field of play, something they've been able to do so successfully so far this half. And how about the tenacity there from DCFC? Nice 1-2 passing. Oh, broken up there from Flint. And again, staying with the pace of play, just trickling out.
But that, you know, those triangles that we saw right there, that we'll see it again here, actually. Yeah, Evan just went for it with the left boot, sailed over, unable to find that top left-hand corner. But what I was saying before the replay that we saw right there is triangles between Crum, Evans, and the midfielder Britton there. That's what we've wanted to see from Detroit City FC all night. That's what's gotten Flint to the point where they are right there. Sustained quality passes, just unable to make it work there. And 81 minutes gone in this one. 5-0. It's going to be a certain three-point night for Flint City AFC. Just a goal would be nice for Detroit City FC, those in attendance.
They would love to see their home team score, certainly, especially with these last 10 minutes of play. How are Flint City and DCFC going to close this one out? DCFC will look to get one back. They've been pressing. They've looked better this second half, even giving up the goal. Just not able to get on the end of things. And again, you talk about player availability. How can they connect? What kind of chemistry can they create? And it just wasn't clicking for DCFC tonight. But still, Flint press on. They look for another. Ball goes sailing over. Prus just kind of kicking it out there. Flint happy to keep it in DCFC's defensive half for now. They'll just keep it in the corner, sailing it out for a goal kick.
Almost a great touch there by the safe employee down in that corner. Tried to corral that one in and get it to Shriver in a timely manner. Just unable to corral that one in. Ball's been at Shriver's feet often this evening. A lot of restarts out of the back there. A good lofted header down there by Kenna White to get Crum in play.
Now Grimaldo, she's been a little quiet this last couple, about 5 or 10 minutes or so as she looks
down there on the
some
field
pain.
now, yeah. She tried to spin past about 2 defenders there in the midfield. Thought she spun maybe out of her own feet just a little bit, but foul called against her. Or excuse me, on a tackle that was against her. She did nothing wrong on that occasion other than have the ball, I guess. Forward now.
Trying to get something going was Evans serving it in. Again, DCFC, that's been the story all night. How can they get on that second ball, even if they do win the 50-50, which half the time they haven't been. It's been about regaining possession, and Flint just happy to play keep away.
That's why they call it a 50-50, as you see a lot of just, I mean, Flint's been the first to these loose balls, these second chance opportunities, the rebounds, being smart when Detroit hasn't been able to clear it from their own box. It's been an all-around performance from the visitors. Obviously, it's easy to say with the 5-0 scoreline, but hitting the post twice, looking really dangerous all night. This is one of the best 90 minutes I've seen a team put together here at Keyworth Stadium. It's not named Detroit City FC.
Well, and Flint have just looked sound and composed the whole night. Again, not to sound like a broken record, but they've come in. They have the chemistry. Obviously, that's something you can't always build. They know what type of runs each other are making. You know, we go back to Olivia Thomas, who was absolutely electric here today at Keyworth Stadium.
And this is what Flint looks like every week. I mean, when the USL W League puts out their power rankings every week and Flint's in the top 5 nationally, they're not joking around. This is what you expect from Flint every time they take the pitch. And, you know, maybe tonight the variance of finishing, the variance of good runs being made, it was on their side, and they're going to head back up north with 3 points.
And credit to Michelle Krisnick, so getting her team up in shape even without Sammy Woods or normally their starting goalkeeper, Northrup. They've been sound, and they've looked a lot better than the first time or the second time that these two teams have met. And both teams came into this game coming off of a win, as that will sail over the goal.
Yeah, Shriver was up for that one just in case she needed to be, but that one goes over the bar. From here, it sort of looked like it could have dipped in there, but Detroit City FC deficit remains at 5. Ball played forward, sort of ambitiously, but finds Crum, who tried to get past her defender, played it right into her legs instead. Let's enter the final 5 minutes of play here.
And for Flint, they almost make it look too simple. They haven't been doing a lot of twisting and turning. It's more about where am I facing and how can I play the best ball I can to the best available teammate. And that's what's been clicking all night for this away team.
If you're still with us here on YouTube, we appreciate it. Be sure to subscribe to the Detroit City FC YouTube channel. Never miss a moment of content or USL W League home action. Just one more broadcast for you guys this season after this. Home to Cleveland Force 11 days from now. Be sure to tune in for that. Also, tickets still available on SeatGeek for that contest. Be sure to come out for the last women's home match of the season.
And it'll be interesting to see how can DCFC recollect after this. Yeah, after this game. Certainly, it was not the best result that you would want at home, but it's all about how they recollect after this. You know, what are the conversations going to be like in practice? How can they recompose themselves?
The W League season is so short and so condensed. After this, Detroit City FC, you know, only 2 more matches. Home to Cleveland Force and then away to AFC Ann Arbor to close out the season. So trying to get 6 points to close the season out strong. Of course, Veronica, you were on the call for Detroit City FC's 4-1 drubbing over AFC Ann Arbor right here at Keyworth Stadium. That was a good night for this squad and going to have the chance to do it again on the road to close out the season.
And that type of game, that type of result was what really showed what this team is all about and what they're capable of, most importantly. They were clicking on all ends, defensively sound. They were disciplined up top. They were hardly offside, and that was it. How they were able to create a lot of those chances up top. When you get pulled back from that offsides call, it interrupts everything.
It definitely helps a lot when you have a player like Sydney Bloomquist who can just come out and score 2 bangers as she did on that occasion against AFC Ann Arbor. Free kick winning USL W League goal of the week. And I said it before in the first half, but a couple goal of the week contenders here tonight from Flint as they look to sort of close the game out here. Only less than 3 minutes plus stoppage time remaining in this contest.
And you talk about those goals from Bloomquist. They don't get those goals if they're not attacking and in their opponent's final third. And that's how those goals end up being in the back of the net, as White will test her luck from way outside the box.
That one bounced off the turf just a little bit, and sometimes playing on turf has that added bonus of when there's a bounce, it could go anywhere for the goalkeeper. So a great job to stay alert and get her hands on that one to preserve the clean sheet.
Especially with Radwinski's height, why not test your luck again? A bouncing ball, not always easy for a goalkeeper to read, especially when the lights come on and you're not playing with the same atmosphere that you were at the beginning of the game. Why not catch him off guard? And I think that's what White was trying to do. And again, this game has been all about, how can they execute what they're thinking, what they want to do.
Yeah, there have been a couple occasions where we have seen Kenna White in a position where it looked like maybe she would go on and take the shot. That time actually does, and it bounced off the turf, and it was a save had to be made, so positive sign there. Just a little bit too little too late.
And this crowd has been electric all night, trying to get their team back in it from the opening minutes up until now. Minute and a half left to play here, plus stoppage time.
If you just haven't had enough Detroit City FC action following this match, you can head on over to ESPN Plus to check out the second half of USL Championship action. Detroit City FC on the road to Memphis 901 FC, looking to avenge last year's loss in the playoffs. Currently 0-0 at the half. So the second this game ends, open ESPN Plus and check out that match for a big second half. Detroit City FC's been red hot in the USL Championship, taking on Memphis, who's been a little bit hotter. 5 consecutive wins for them in the league, so a tight 45 ahead down at AutoZone Park. But the task on hand here, Detroit City FC running out of time to get a goal here late. Legs look a little bit tired. Flint, we can see it right there. People just happy to pass it around the back and see the time expire here at Keyworth Stadium. Can't imagine there'll be too much stoppage time. Situations like this, referees usually pretty happy to just get them out of there.
I think we'll be hearing from the fourth official any moment now.
And the game's almost being played at a walking pace from both sides. But the crowd still cheering on loud as they've been all night, despite the scoreline, showing that they support this team. It's one of the best fans in the country as we've now reached the 90-minute mark. 2 added minutes.
And again, this crowd is just as loud as they were at the beginning of the game. Up until now, it's a true testament of this fan base here at Keyworth Stadium.
Looking to urge the team on to get a late goal that will benefit the Ruth Ellis Center and Pride Raiser. Of course, the biggest point here in June. A great job by Crum to flick it over her head and just unable to follow up, and then a shoulder. No apologies heading the way to McConnell on that one from Crum. Just a gritty play right there.
I think the referee is just having a couple words that I don't think there was no intent with the follow through.
There might, yeah. Referee having a word there, but McConnell end of the day on the winning side of this match, so I can't believe she'll be too upset with that one as we got to be almost halfway here through stoppage time at Keyworth Stadium. This result all but clinches the playoffs for Flint City AFC this evening in the Great Lakes standings. One more chance at it here, played into the box, and that'll be a goal kick for Flint.
Certainly not the result that DCFC was looking for coming off of a win. They wanted to play a better game probably for their home base, but credit to Flint City. They've been alive and electric all night long from start to finish, from the opening minutes all the way until the end of the first half. And again, even going into the second half, they weren't happy with they're passing it, between their defenders now, but they were still pressing very early on in the second half. Not happy with just the 4 goals that they had. Yeah,
and certainly the 2 early goals certainly helped. I mean, the first one, it was just an unfortunate circumstance where Detroit City FC couldn't really clear their lines. Going up early on that one was a huge help on that occasion. And then the second one, just scoring a banger from distance, was Gaetano. And at that point, the match was pretty much done and dusted. 3 blows from the whistle there, 3 points for Flint City AFC. Veronica, 5-0 scoreline. What did you see out of the last 90 minutes here at Keyworth?
Well, like we've talked about all night, Jared, I mean, Flint showed why they are at the top of the table. Goals coming from Worthman, Gaetano, Thomas, and even the substitute Canada, all from their front line. They were just electric up top, and for DCFC, they've just got to be a little better disciplined in the back line. They've showed grit from start to finish. They created opportunities. It wasn't a lack of opportunities for DCFC. It was just the execution of their opportunities here today at Keyworth Stadium. Jared?
A dominant performance from Flint. They will go home back up north with all 3 points, and that, well, pretty much put them in the USL W League playoffs. Detroit City FC, not too often you see them taking a part like this, but nonetheless, thank you guys for tuning in to the YouTube stream. Just one more for us here this season, 11 days from now against Cleveland Forest. I've been Jarrett Mackey alongside Veronica Bolanos. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.